Hello, it's Miss Temple, and I am going to pick up where Dr. Ellison left off, reading Ghost. So I'm going to start at the bottom of page 155. But who did I want to be? Well, that was harder to answer. I wasn't exactly sure yet, but definitely one of the world's greatest. Do you understand? Coach asked, his head cocked to the side. Yeah, I replied sheepishly. Do you really? He was glaring at me hard. I do, seriously. I wiped my face, sniffled, then added desperately, but please don't tell my mom. Coach sighed. I won't. He paused, then followed with a threat. This time. Thank you, I murmured, so relieved I thought I was going to pass out, but I still had another question burning inside. Well, do I still get to run? Coach glared even harder at me, and I was hoping that somewhere in my face he could see himself and give me another chance. I never wanted to be on no track team before I met him anyway. But now that I had been on one, even if it had only been for a few weeks, it felt like I didn't want to do nothing else. He unclenched his jaw. Yeah, you can run. Then pointing down at my raggedy regular sneakers, he added, in those. But I can't, I started, but Coach cut me off. You want to run or not? Got it. And Friday, you're cleaning my cab, he commanded. Coach! The rest of the week was pretty much filled with me being on my best behavior at school. I was straight up acting like that annoyingly goody-good Maureen Thorne. Then working extra hard at practice, which was much more difficult than usual because running in my regular raggedy sneakers made me feel like my feet had gained weight. Like I had obese toes or something. It had been a while since I had practiced in my cut-off shoes, and I think that the silver bullets had me spoiled. Not to mention, everyone wanted to know where the silver bullets were, and I kept making ridiculous excuses like letting them rest. And Coach works us so hard at practice that I was scared I'd ruin them before the race. And then they would say something like, oh, so you're going to run, right? Or word, so you're getting your uniform, right? But they'd say it under their breath. And I would just shut all that down by saying, shh, it's not worth talking about. Not worth you risking yours. I'm here, ain't I? Still on the team, right? That's all that matters. So the Raggedy Runners was what I had to run in, and I stuck at it through ladders on Wednesday and Thursday's long run. I, of course, was now a step behind Lou, who was blazing around the track like it was nothing, doing everything he could to secure his spot as the lead sprinter. I mean, we were both sprinters, and Aaron and Mike. But Mike was going to run the 800 and the 400 just because me and Lou were both faster than him in the shorter sprint races. And Chris Myers, who ran the 800, his father took him off the team because his grades were slipping. Aaron was going to run the 400. He was the master of it, like seriously could burn anybody. And between me and Lou, one of us was going to run the 200 meter and one of us was going to run the 100 meter. Now here's the thing. The 200 was a good race, a hard sprint, but it wasn't as, glamorous. No, that's not the word. The 200 just wasn't the main event. The main event was the 100 meter dash. It was what Usain Bolt set the record in. It was the race. Before I got caught and Coach forced me to run in my old sneakers, I had a pretty good chance at snatching that spot from Lou. Don't get me wrong, he was crazy fast and had been running that race pretty much ever since he started running. But over the month of practice, my time was maybe half second faster than his, but not during the week of slumpy, cut-off shoe running, which was definitely the week that counted. But hey, it was only the first race of the season, so I figured I'd take the 200. Honestly, I'd run any of the races Coach would let me and work my butt off, and my legs and feet, to earn the chance to run that race. Friday, Coach made me do exactly what he said I would have to, clean out his cab. He came over to my house after school and drove around to the back of the building where the dumpsters were. Ghost, I'm not going to lie to you, Coach said, popping the trunk. I don't know what might be in here. I wasn't sure either. I mean, the back seat was pretty much clear just because that was the part of the car that he rode customers around in every day until I got in the car after practice. Then he put all this stuff in the front seat in the back. So the trash went from the back to the front, then front to back. Fast food bags, gym bags, paper, shoes, and who knows what else. And then there was the trunk. When he popped it and I looked in there and saw the end of the world, the back seat and the front seat seemed spotless. The trunk was ridiculous. Coach, this is crazy, I said, staring into what looked like the black abyss. I know, he said, flashing an embarrassed smirk. I sure am glad you did a stupid thing and have to clean all this up. And I did. I trashed all the fast food bags, some with French fries and half-eaten burgers still in them. I pulled out the duffels. I don't know why Coach needed so many gym bags. Who needs more than one? But there was nothing in them. They were all pretty much empty because all the shoes and stinky shorts and towels took up about half the space of the entire trunk. Dirty socks and headbands and old jerseys from past years with the Defenders. He also had starting blocks, which are big and metal and heavy, shoved in there. And whistles everywhere. I opened up the gym bags and loaded them up with all that crud. When I got to the last one, a yellow and green duffel with the name Otis on it, I unzipped it. Who's Otis? I asked Coach, who was sitting on the hood of the car, flipping through the list of all our run times. Otis is me, he said, not even looking up. Oh, I said flat. I mean, I knew Coach's name was Brody, last name was Brody, and I figured his first name wasn't just Coach. Nobody's name is Coach. Well, that might not be true. My name is Castle, so somebody might actually be named Coach somewhere, but not chip-toothed turtle face. I started loading the bag up with a busted pair of cleats that probably would have been better off in the trash when I spied a piece of paper, a crinkled up rectangle in the corner of the duffel. I pulled it out. It was a faded picture of a man, tall and slim like Sonny, facial hair only around his mouth, but none on his cheeks. He had his hands resting on a little boy who stood in front of him. The kid was cheesing. The man was looking away, almost like he was calling out for someone. Who's this? I asked, bringing the picture around to the front of the car. Coach took it from me, looked at it like it was his long-lost gold medal. His mouth hung open for a few seconds before he finally answered. This is my father. He tapped the picture with his finger. And that's me, he said about the happy little boy. Where'd you find this? In that bag. Coach pulled the photo closer to his face, as if he was studying every detail. Thank you, he said. And right then I got the feeling that being mad at his dad wasn't the only way he felt about him. He was, but I could tell Coach also missed his pops. He loved him. And I could totally relate to that because as happy as I was that my crazy father wasn't around to hurt us no more, whenever he wasn't wasted, he was dope. That was my dad too, and I missed that version of him. Coach gingerly slipped the photo in his back pocket, then pulled it right back out. Throw those bags in the trunk. I think you're done, Coach said, climbing into the cab. He took the photo and put it up on the dash part where the speed numbers are. I tossed all the gym bags full of dirty sports gear in the trunk and slammed it shut. Then I hopped in. Where are we going? You'll see. On the way to the land of you'll see, I teased Coach about the name Otis. Seriously, Otis is the name of old men who smell like cinnamon and barbecue sauce. Shut up, Ghost, Coach said, laughing. I mean, Otis is the name you give short, fat dogs, not people. Oh, so I'm a dog now. No, I didn't mean it like that. Well, how did you mean it? I just meant Otis is a great-great-great-grandpa's name. I paused, struck by another thought. Are you a mechanic? Because if you're a mechanic, then it's okay. Coach pulled over on the side of the road. You want to get out? I zipped it, and my mouth stayed zipped until we pulled up right in front of, wait for it, Everything Sports. I looked out the window and into the store. Tia was there, leaning against the counter, checking her cell phone. She could be doing some high kicks or some jumping jacks, but no, she was texting, not an athlete. Do I need to tell you what we're doing here, Coach asked. And the truth is, he didn't. I knew why we had come, why we had to come. I had to come. But it didn't feel good, that's for sure. As a matter of fact, it felt pretty whack. I looked Coach in his eye and shook my head before exhaling a heavy, guilty breath. You ready? He said. Yeah, I'm ready. Coach walked in and I trailed behind him with my head down, nervous and feeling stupid. Welcome to Everything Sports. Tia stopped mid-greeting when she saw me. Oh, it's you. Yes, it's him, Coach said, his car keys clinking as he set them on the counter. I was still behind him, staring down at the gray carpet. Head up, son. You know my rule, Coach coached. Stand tall at all times. I lifted my face and looked at Tia straight on. I'm sorry, I started, and in that moment realized sometimes a real apology can go a long way. Just like Shamika's at school, just like the one I never got from my father. But he had just told me he was sorry for what he'd done. Maybe, I don't know. Coach was leaning his ear toward me, like Mr. Charles always did, as if he was hard of hearing. I followed up. I'm really, really sorry for stealing the shoes. I didn't mean anything. I made a stupid mistake. Stupid mistake. I mean, a stupid mistake, Coach added, way too enthusiastic. That's what I said, Coach, stupid. Tia's mouth went from straight line to little bitty smile. Not big smile, but definitely not frown, and that was all that mattered. Okay, she said, I forgive you. Coach then handed over his credit card, and as Tia swiped it to pay for the shoes, Coach threw his arm around my neck, put me in a tight headlock, and whispered in my ear, if you ever do this again, I promise I'll make room for you in the trunk. I looked at him in his face, in his eyes, not a flinch, just that big chip-toothed smile and a scary wink. Yikes.